Made with Spoken. Celestial Convergence Dragons of Vacari No. 3 by T.A. McEvoy. Digital narration, performed by multiple digital voices. The sky around Lyra'el shimmered not with heat, but with light. It draped itself across the ridgelines like living silk, shifting in a slow celestial dance. Mountains rose in a half-circle of luminous stone, jagged backs forming an eternal watch. From their cliffs poured crystalline streams, cascading in rose gold and starlight blue, braiding into silver rivers that wound through the forested lowlands. Valion leaned forward in the Pegasus saddle, eyes wide. Something stirred inside him, a pull, fierce and unfamiliar, as though a long, quiet part of his chest had suddenly remembered how to breathe. The Pegasus beneath him coasted effortlessly, unbothered by his restless fidgeting.
"Is this still the outside?"
he asked, blinking at a spiraled tower of braided moonstone, its crown circled by lanterns that never seemed to burn out. Keisha's smile was faint, fond.
"Only the beginning. The true city lies beyond the inner ridge. Few beyond the Lyra'el ever see even this much."
"Could we—"
Valion hesitated, then pointed toward a ridge where white blooming trees ringed a floating platform. His voice softened.
"Could we circle the outskirts first? This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen."
"Of course."
Keisha's Pegasus angled toward his, their cloaks streaming as the wind carried them into a graceful arc. She named landmarks as if reciting memories.
"Those are the ether boughs. Their blossoms never full. They fade into light. And there, half veiled in mist, that arch is the gate of Valorian. It marks the edge of the old territory, where the first of the celestial flight once walked."
"It looks like the stars carved it."
Valion whispered.
"Even the air feels different."
"It is,"
Keisha murmured.
"This land breathes magic. You can feel it if you let it."
Valion closed his eyes. The wind carried no pine, no frost, but something brighter like memory warmed by morning. His heart swelled with a word he did not yet have.
"I get why the dragons chose this place."
For a heartbeat, something flickered in Keisha's eyes. Pride, shadowed by sorrow. Then it was gone. She guided her Pegasus higher, silver mane streaming in the light. Below, mist coiled around glowing lakes, where celestial elk grazed among translucent ferns. Small towers crowned distant hills, pulsing faintly like patient stars.
"But the heart of Lyra'el waits higher still,"
she said at last, lifting her chin toward a second veil of radiant cloud.
"Unseen, watching."
Valion pointed toward a lonely outcrop suspended above them, no larger than a village green. Its jagged surface was plated in black stone, thorned brush clinging stubbornly to its edges. The air around it shimmered with hostile currents, as though the world itself rejected its weight.
"What's that?"
he asked.
"The circle of naming,"
Keisha replied.
"Here, the celestial dragons bring their young for the rites. Each rune carved there is more than a letter. It is a song, bound into the stars. Only those with the sight can hear them in full."
Valion shook his head slowly.
"This place is insane."
"Sacred,"
she corrected, though her voice carried a wistful edge.
"even to those who no longer believe."
The Pegasi caught a rising current, and for an instant, Valion's silver-dappled mount soared higher than Keisha's. He let out a startled laugh, gripping the reins as her amused glance flicked his way. The moment felt light, unbound, until it ended. Because ahead, above the drifting veils, another shape waited. A shard of land hung suspended in the sky, but not like the others. This one was jagged, dark, its edges bristling with thorn-spined ridges. A patch of shadow clung to it, drinking the light, making the air itself tremble. Keisha's gaze flicked to it, measuring. Too exposed, too unstable. If forced to land, she would sooner trust open air than that waiting snare.
"We should head for the gate,"
she said, her tone calm but clipped.
"The Celestials will be expecting us."
Valion nodded, reluctant but obedient, as their Pegasi angled toward the pale spires of the Valorian arch. The runes carved along its surface glowed faintly, thrumming like a heartbeat. High above the thermals, half hidden against a fractured ledge of black stone, Voraxia crouched. Her scales drank the light and returned it as a venomous violet sheen. Beside her, coiled in the seam between rock and cloud, lay Vorathos' molten veins dimmed to a slow, seething glow.
You've stared at that elf long enough.
Vorathos rumbled, smoke coiling between her teeth.
Planning to eat her?
Voraxia did not answer at once. Her gaze was fixed not on the nervous human clinging to the Pegasus below, but on Keisha.
She doesn't move like the others.
Voraxia murmured, voice low, edged like obsidian.
Even in the air, the wind bends to her.
Vorathos gave a rasping snort.
You're waxing poetic. Dangerous.
Voraxia's eyes narrowed, violet fire threading her silver sheen.
She's Eladrin.
Silence followed. Heavy, broken only by the hiss of Vorathos' molten breath. Her head lifted, embers burning brighter beneath her hide.
Certain?
I am now,
Voraxia said.
She hides it well, but I can taste it in the rhythm of her magic, in the way she listens to the land instead of bending it. The blood of the ancients sings in her veins.
Vorathos' tail lashed, carving a glowing scar into the stone.
The master spoke of an Eladrin meddler. If this is the one,
Her voice thickened, almost reverent in its hunger.
then imagine what it would mean to silence her. To offer triumph, not defiance.
Voraxia's lips peeled back, fangs glimmering in the fractured light.
Remove her, and the master would rejoice. Perhaps then the rebukes would cease. Then we would not be reminded of leashes.
Vorathos' molten wings twitched open.
Orders were to observe.
She growled, though conviction wavered in her tone. Voraxia's gaze lingered on Keisha, measured, merciless, certain.
We will be seen,
She whispered. Shadow curled around her words like flame around oil.
but we will decide where the seeing cuts deepest.
Below, Keisha laughed at something Valion said, her voice bright as silver chimes, unaware of the weight coiling above her. Her Pegasus drifted in a steady glide, wings spread wide, sunlight sliding across her armor like liquid fire.
It's time.
She called steady as dawn.
Back to the gate.
They banked toward the shining arch. But high above, the shadows moved. Voraxia and Vorathos rose in unison, obsidian and abyss, wings folding tight before snapping wide into a dive. The air thinned. The wind twisted. The sky itself seemed to shudder with warning. Keisha's head snapped upward. Her heart lurched.
Valion, go!
For one heartbeat, he froze, caught between instinct and memory, between his urge to stay and the raw terror of loss he had felt once before. Then the Pegasus beneath him screamed and surged forward, hooves skimming the light, and he kicked hard, driving it faster. Keisha wheeled her Pegasus into the path of the oncoming storm. Radiance and shadow collided in the air around her, light flaring, darkness folding in. She yanked the reins, plunging into a desperate dive, then climbed hard, dragging the hunt away from Valion and the gate.
Come on, girl.
She breathed through clenched teeth, stroking the Pegasus's silver mane.
Not today.
The sky cracked. A suffocating weight slammed into her chest. Voraxia's shadow-forged will, sharp and merciless. Pain lanced through her ribs like molten iron driven into bone. Her cry tore free, vision sparking white at the edges. Still she held the reins, refusing to yield.
She endures.
Voraxia hissed, voice like a blade drawn in darkness, banking to strike again. Behind her, Vorathos laughed, a grinding sound like stone in fire.
Protecting a Pegasus, bleeding for a beast of feathers.
Her molten veins blazed brighter, abyssal fire coiling up her throat.
Sentiment kills.
The second strike fell like a hammer of frost and flame. It slammed into Keisha's shoulder, and agony lit the joint, then turned it numb. Her fingers slipped, caught, slipped again, only stubborn will anchoring her to the saddle. The Pegasus shrieked, feathers scattering like sparks, but the blow had struck her alone. She had twisted her body, shielding the creature with her own. The world narrowed into blinding light and choking shadow. Through the haze, Keisha glimpsed the jagged shard of Sky Island she and Valion had passed earlier, closer now, its thorned ridges looming. The air currents tore around it like claws, unstable, lethal. To land there would be to die. She gritted her teeth, forcing her Pegasus higher, clinging to the open sky. Better the storm than the snare. The mount's wings strained, tearing through the wind with hooves flashing light. Valion clung tight, the gale ripping the breath from his chest, panic pounding harder than the wing beats beneath him. The gleaming arch of Lyra'el rose ahead, its runes blazing like a shield of stars. The Pegasus stumbled as it struck the terrace stone, skidding across the plaza. Valion nearly toppled, catching himself on the saddle's edge before leaping down, legs shaking, chest heaving. He didn't wait. He staggered toward the gathering in the courtyard. Crystal armor gleamed in the morning sun, sentinels bracing, hands on blades. Among them stood Radiantus, Aurelius at his side, their vast wings half furled from patrol.
Keisha!
Valion choked, voice cracking on her name.
She stayed behind. The sky shadows, two of them. She's not with Kimras. She's on a Pegasus. She sent me ahead.
The words tumbled out in fragments, but they were enough. Radiantus's head snapped toward the horizon, his argent mane flaring with light. For the first time since his return, his calm fractured. A thunderous roar rolled from his chest, shaking every crystal terrace.
She faces them alone.
His wings unfurled, scattering shards of brilliance across the plaza. The air vibrated with his fury, every spire ringing in answer. Aurelius's luminous white eyes narrowed, golden-silver light sharpening to a blade.
Voraxia, Vorethos.
Radiantus's voice thundered, low and fierce.
Then they will not face her alone for long.
With a single earth-shaking bound, the platinum dragon launched skyward, the terraces trembling in his wake. Aurelius followed, his vast wings igniting the clouds with celestial fire as the two noble giants surged eastward, toward the storm-racked horizon.
Just a little longer,
Keisha whispered, steering the Pegasus toward the Valorian arch, toward the veil, toward hope. The heavens tore in light. Radiantus and Aurelius burst through the higher veil, platinum wings flaring brilliance across the cloud tops. Below them, a Pegasus faltered, one wing trembling, its rider slumped in the saddle, hands still clenched on the reins.
There,
Aurelius said, awe softening his voice.
she still protects it. That's Keisha,
Radiantus growled, silver eyes narrowing.
She would die before abandoning any creature in her care.
Crimson droplets trailed in the wind, terrible proof. Radiantus's voice sharpened to command.
Get to her, free them out. She won't release it on her own.
And you?
Aurelius asked.
I'll deal with them.
Aurelius fell like a comet. Radiantus leveled into the oncoming dark. The celestial dragon drew alongside Keisha, matching the failing rhythm of Pegasus's wing beats with impossible grace.
Release the reins,
he called, low and certain, extending a foreclaw.
let him go. He'll be caught at the gate.
Keisha lifted her head, pale and sweat-slick, eyes blown wide with pain. She nodded once, fingers clumsy but deliberate as she unbuckled the strap and slid the line free. The Pegasus shuddered, confused, unwilling.
Go.
Aurelius told it, his voice deep as a bell.
The wardens will meet you.
Then, with infinite care, he curved one talon inward, forming a cradle of argent scale and light. He gathered Keisha against his chest, small and fragile within his vast hold. She groaned, but her hands found the ridge of his scales, clinging as if that touch alone tethered her.
Take me to the city,
She whispered, and then stronger.
Do not let him face them alone.
Aurelius sighed, half exasperation, half respect.
Elves.
He tilted into a climb and drew level with Radiantus. Ahead, Voraxia and Vorethos checked their dive, circling back to measure the blaze of light.
He came.
Voraxia said, unreadable.
And brought another.
Vorethos muttered. Radiantus's voice rang like a blade across the sky.
Leave now, or suffer the wrath of the Platinum Flight.
Even the wind stilled. Voraxia's eyes flickered once, calculating, before she said flatly,
We leave. The master forbade engagement.
Vorethos hissed, fire trembling at her fangs, but swallowed it. Together, they peeled away, vanishing into mist and shadow, their absence sharp as an unspoken threat. Radiantus watched until the last ripple smoothed from the sky. Then he turned.
Let's get her in.
The Valorian gate brightened to meet them, runes singing in layered chords. Wardens and healers raced across the terrace of white stone, flowering vines shivering with urgency. Aurelius descended in a slow spiral, vast wings breaking the air until he touched the crystal platform as softly as drifting snow. Only then did he lower his foreleg, angling his talons with impossible precision.
Gently.
He rumbled. The healers stepped forward, fearless before the Celestial's claws, and lifted Keisha from the cradle of argent scale. She was barely conscious, face colourless, lips bloodied, her hand slipping weakly from Aurelius's grip as they carried her into the chamber of soft light. The doors closed with a resonant chime. Her blood gleamed against the crystal floor like fallen rubies. Valion paced the archway, knuckles white, eyes fixed on the door as if he could will it open.
Should I contact Ong?
He blurted, turning to Radiantus, who stood nearby, wings half-folded, gaze fixed on the peaks. Radiantus considered.
Not yet. Panic serves no one when we don't yet know the extent of her injuries.
His head tipped, a glint of grim steel in his silver gaze.
And I doubt Kimras will wait for a message. He will feel this. I almost pity the fools who struck his rider.
Aurelius exhaled, some of the light leaving his shoulders.
This wasn't a mistake. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Valion froze, the words cutting deeper than he expected. His throat went dry.
What do you mean, new?
Radiantus's gaze lowered to him, heavy as the weight of dawn.
You saw it too. They came for her. Not you, not the Pegasus. Her, the one who bears the Eladrin flame.
His wings shifted, scattering a harsh gleam across the terrace.
Do not fool yourself, Valion. The shadows did not stumble into her path. The hand that commands them remembers her. Perhaps it even desired her gone.
Shock rippled through Valion, colder than the mountain winds. He thought of Keisha's laughter, her voice steadying him when doubt gnawed, the way she had shielded him without hesitation. His stomach knotted.
Then it's my fault if I hadn't...
Radiantus's voice cut across him, sharp and unyielding.
No. The fault is theirs. The Master's hatred is older than your years, and it hunts what it cannot corrupt. You are not the cause, Valion. You are the witness. Remember what you saw today, and let it steel you. For the day will come when neither she nor I can shield you, and you must choose to stand.
Valion swallowed hard, protest dying on his tongue. For the first time, he understood his place among them was not chance nor mistake. It was a summons. The doors to the healing chamber remained closed, the glow behind them steady. Outside, the ward lanterns brightened as night crept toward Lyra'el. The storm had passed, but the war had already... The volcanic winds howled outside Flameford, but within the central cavern the air was still tainted with smoke, thick with brimstone, heavy with the weight of rivalries left unsaid. Varaxia landed first, wings folding sleek against her frame, as molten light ran along the fractured edges of her scales. Each step rang deliberately against soot-stained stone, controlled, calculated. Voratos followed, her vast coils grinding across the cavern floor with a hiss like splitting obsidian. Together they claimed the center, waiting. Toward the rear, Zilron stood rooted in silence. His posture was taut and unreadable, but his crimson eyes burned with a steady suspicion fixed not on Vorathos, but on Varaxia. And he was not alone. Glaciaria loomed rimmed in frost, settling just behind his flank. Nocturna's dissolving shadow stretched across the stone beside her. Zalzorath coiled to complete the arc, runes flickering faintly along his vast hide. Their formation curved around Zilron, not apart. In dragon language it was no accident. Varaxia's tail flicked once. Her gaze tracked the arc, narrowing as she weighed angles and intent. It was a declaration, warning. And though her jaw tightened, the flash of irritation cooled quickly to calculation. She never forgot alignments. She never forgave them. Shadows shifted at the cavern's mouth. The mysterious figure entered. Black-cloaked, they drank the molten glow without reflecting it, their presence bending the silence itself. They halted at the center. The lava's light trembled as though reluctant to touch them. When they spoke, the voice was smooth, calm yet honed like a blade's edge.
Before we begin, remember one thing.
Their gaze swept the gathered host, one by one. Shadows stirred tighter, betraying the temper barely veiled.
I am the one in command.
The words fell like ash clinging, inescapable.
I expect loyalty. No hesitation. Not factions. Not whispers. What we are building is greater than the pride of any single one of you. And if any of you have forgotten,
Their tone curved sharp, steel-drawn taut.
you will not be warned again.
A low growl rippled from the cavern's edge. Whether defiance or assent, it went unanswered. Zilron did not move. His crimson eyes lingered on the cloaked figure a heartbeat longer than wisdom allowed. Measuring, remembering. The mysterious one turned at last, fixing their gaze on the abyssal sisters.
Well, give your report.
Varaxia lifted her head, the lava painting her scales in fractured violet. When she spoke, her tone was smooth, measured, each word chosen with care.
We ensured we were seen circling the outer territories as instructed. It was then that we observed two figures crossing Lyra'el's border upon Pegasi.
Her tail flicked, too precise to be idle.
One was human, young, nervous, inexperienced.
The mysterious figure tilted their veiled head.
And the other?
Varaxia paused not long, but long enough for the silence to deepen.
A female, Eladrin.
The word left her throat like shattered glass. For an instant, something shifted through her satisfaction, honed with unease. That face had not been expected to return. Not there, not riding beneath starlit wings. The syllables lingered in the cavern like a coin still spinning on stone. Zilron's crimson eyes narrowed, lifting. Varaxia's voice remained even.
The male was granted passage. The dragons allowed him within Lyra'el.
The mysterious figure's reply came in a quieter, colder tone.
And the Eladrin?
Varaxia did not blink.
She flew beneath me during a descent. I veered, but the air was tight. There was turbulence.
She let silence breathe, tasting the tension it left behind.
She was struck. Minor wounds, no more. She lives, I think. The platinum one carried her away.
Voratos's nostrils flared, smoke whispering in slow coils, but she said nothing. Stillness pressed down over the cavern. Not Glaciria, not Zalzarath, not even Nocturna, whose shadows thickened against the stone. They all knew. They all heard the lie and the cold precision with which it was spoken. The mysterious person did not stir. They did not question. They didn't need to. Their silence pressed heavier than the molten rivers around them. The crack came not from them, but from Zilron. Smoke bled from his jaws as he stepped forward, every line of his body wound taut with restraint.
For one as old as you,
He rumbled, voice low as shifting stone.
you know the air above Lyra'el. You chose your path. You chose her.
Varaxia's head turned slowly. Her silver-white eyes locked onto his. No denial. No defense. Only silence. An acknowledgement sharper than any words.
This was no accident.
Zilron went on.
It was defiance against command.
The chamber pulsed. Glaciria shifted, frost cracking from her scales in brittle shards. Nocturna's shadows thickened, swallowing the floor in dark swells. Zalzarath's runes flared, then dulled like a warning swallowed back. The balance wavered. Then the mysterious person moved. Not in fury, though it licked beneath their silence, but with an icy precision that cracked the stone under each step. They advanced toward Varaxia, their voice drawn thin as glass about to break.
Whether it was an accident,
They said.
or a test of my leash, it will not happen again.
Varaxia did not bow. She stilled, wings coiling tight, violet fire flickering faintly at their edges. The figure halted before her, shadows thickening around their form.
You will come to your lair. We will speak privately. I must be certain you understand what is required of you.
Varaxia's eyes narrowed, violet fire licking faintly along her scales. Then, slowly, deliberately, she bowed her head just enough to be called obedience.
As you command.
Zilron exhaled sharply, smoke spilling from his jaws in a hot plume. He said nothing further. He didn't need to. His truth lingered in the cavern like molten stone cooling to ash. The mysterious person turned away, shadows curling tighter around their form. The chamber's silence settled once more. Neither peace nor trust. Balance. Fragile. Uneasy. A silence the next breath could shatter. Beneath the blackened rock, the flame still burned. Voraxia and Vorothos moved together, wings folding close as they paced toward the upper tunnels. They passed Zilron without a word, yet both paused just long enough to glance back. Not an open challenge, not an overt threat, merely a look sharp, measuring, promising. Zilron did not flinch. His crimson eyes burned with steady, unyielding certainty. When the sisters vanished into shadow, the air loosened its grip. Glaceria released a slow breath, frost curling from her nostrils and dimming the molten glow. Nocturna drifted forward in silence, her shadows unfurling to brush the stone. Zalzarath coiled closer, runes pulsing in a low, steady rhythm, like the heartbeat of the earth itself.
You did not earn your temper for nothing.
Zalzarath rumbled at last, his voice heavy with the weight of ancient years.
At least,
Nocturna whispered, soft as drifting smoke.
the message was received.
No one spoke further. One by one they withdrew into the deep halls of Flameford, their vast forms swallowed by fire and shadow. And yet, in the cavern's stillness, the air quivered with something unspoken, an alliance formed not through trust or loyalty, but through fear. Far below, in the dark spiral of her lair, Voraxia landed in silence. The stone radiated the lingering warmth of past fires, but the air felt cooler now, taut, expectant. The mysterious one stood at the center, still as carved obsidian, watching a thin stream of lava creep along the wall like a living scar. Without turning, they spoke.
Describe the Eladrin.
Voraxia stepped forward, her tone deliberate.
She was red-haired. At first I doubted Eladrin rarely bear that coloring, but I watched her. The way she moved, the way the magic breathed around her.
Her head lifted slightly.
It was her, the one you warned us of. So yes, I struck. I believed she was the one causing you trouble.
Silence stretched, heavy as stone. Then the mysterious one turned, and a low laugh slipped from their throat, quiet, cold, edged with cruel amusement.
That was Keisha.
They said at last. Their veiled gaze gleamed.
The very one.
They began to pace, robes trailing over blackened stone, shadows curling behind them like a second cloak.
And while I am not displeased to know she was injured,
They stopped suddenly, their voice sharpened to a blade.
you will remember your place.
Voraxia dipped her head, obedience sharpened by pride.
I understand.
Then, with a flicker of violet fire in her eyes, she added, low and deliberate.
She was seriously injured. She may not rise quickly.
For the first time, the mysterious one let it slip. A smile, thin, wicked, carved of hunger, curved across their face. It was not masked. It was meant to be seen. Voraxia's gaze lingered, unreadable. Voratos entered a heartbeat later, coils sliding across the stone, abyssal blue eyes narrowing at the sight of that smile. Neither sister spoke of it, but both bowed their heads in silence, acknowledging, accepting, hiding their own thoughts. The mysterious one turned without another word and vanished into the dark, their laughter echoing faintly against the stone as they went. Voratos's growl rumbled low, edged with sardonic humor, though her coils stayed wound tight.
Well,
She said at last.
that went better than expected.
Voraxia did not answer immediately. Firelight shimmered faintly along her scales. Then, softly, just loud enough for the lava to carry.
Keisha was stronger than I thought.
Voratos's wings flexed, smoke curling from her jaws. She glanced toward the tunnel where the mysterious one had disappeared, the shadows there still rippling faintly. Voraxia's voice followed, low and measured, steel beneath silk.
We need to watch Zilron. The red dragon's calm is a mask. Cracks are already forming.
Voratos snorted.
He already is.
Maybe,
Voraxia murmured.
But we do nothing. Not to him, not to Glaceria, not to any of them.
Voratos's eyes burned hotter.
Because of the mysterious one.
Voraxia's lips curved faintly, a glint of violet sheen along her fangs.
yes. Because if we cross them, we burn. And there is something in them, Vorathos. Something we both know we cannot challenge.
Varatos grumbled, coils loosening but not unwinding fully. At last she inclined her head.
Fine, for now.
Together, the sisters turned, their shadows stretching long across the lava-lit stone before the fire swallowed them whole. When their echoes faded, the cavern fell silent. The mysterious one lingered in the gloom a moment longer, then turned toward the black tower. Their steps were slow and deliberate, their robes whispering across the scorched stone. At the threshold they paused. The shadows along the walls stirred unbidden, restless as though the lair itself remembered. Dark tendrils writhed upward like smoke caught in a breath that did not belong to this world. A laugh slipped from the figure, low and cold, edged with a predator's satisfaction. Their voice followed, soft as a secret not meant to be heard.
Varus, perhaps, at last, the elf who slipped your sacrifice will not survive. It will not bring you back, but it will please me.
The shadows quivered in approval, their forms trembling against the stone. The figure's smile lingered as they stepped into the tower, and the obsidian closed around them. Only silence and the echo of that laughter remained in the depths of Flameford.
Professional audiobooks in a click. Spoken.